So the point is, the implementation-oriented or the results-oriented management approach is not so well suited to meeting challenges, right? Here we are today. Here's where we want to get, but we can only see so far, right? Yet back here, where you see the eye, back here, this is where we make the plan, right? But a plan is like a flashlight. Let's say the flashlight only shines this far. We can only see this far into the darkness. We want to go there. How do we see further if we have this flashlight in our hand? How do we see further? Take a step, right? So you take a few steps, and then, oh, there are things here we didn't know or see back here when we were making the plan, right? So if you can't see all the way, it's not implementation. It's a different style of working. It's the fundamental pattern that Toyota teaches. Understand the direction. Where are we trying to go? What's the challenge we are trying to meet? This can be anywhere from 1 to 3 years out there. This is, what are we trying to get to? Grasp the current condition, and then establish a target condition. Don't start a bunch of activity before you have a target condition. If you really want to rally a group of people, first you have to figure out where you want to go. Don't do random improvements and wastes. So this is figuring out where you want to go, then it kind of shifts gears, and then they essentially iterate, or in the language of Lean, PDCA experiment toward that target condition. If you look behind the A3, if you look behind practical problem solving, if you look behind Toyota business practices, if you look behind quality circles, you will find this pattern. And we call it the improvement kata. Again, Toyota has no words for this. We've just opened the door for managers to walk through their company. I don't care what team you go to, and you can say, hey, what are you guys trying to achieve? Where are you now? What obstacles are you facing? Which one of those obstacles are you addressing right now? What's your next experiment, and how quickly can we see what we've learned from taking that experiment? And then you go over here to this team, they're working on something completely different, but the manager can say the same thing. What are you guys trying to achieve? Where are you now? Please show me. Show me the data. Show me the facts. What obstacles are currently preventing you from achieving that objective? Which one obstacle are you addressing now? And what's your next experiment? And when can we see what we've learned from doing that experiment? You can ask the same 5 questions everywhere. The first thing that happens is the coach tries to understand how the learner is thinking. And the only way to do that is to have the learner say or do something. So the Toyota manager will say, take a look at this problem and tell me what you think. Take this blank sheet of paper and write your ideas down here. And then they do something kind of unusual. They shut up. And they just don't say anything. And then the learner comes back and says, I think we should do this. Or I see the situation this way. And by doing that, the coach can then see, how is the learner thinking? And then, now it's possible to compare. Is the learner here or is the learner here? Right? So the second step is to compare the learner's way of thinking and acting with the desired pattern specified by the improvement kata. So now the coach is in a judging mode. And then number 3, introduce a course adjustment if necessary. So now the coach is in an instructing or guiding mode. And I think this picture from music captures it perfectly. Play a few bars for me. I see you're holding the bow wrong. But the teacher would have to know how to hold the bow. And then introduce the course correction so that the practice happens so that the neurons develop this pattern. The improvement kata gives you something to hang on to in the uncertainty zone. If people are accustomed to making a plan and carrying out that plan, right, you get a certain sense of self-efficacy from that. If you're going to take that away and say, you know what, we don't really know how it's going to go between here and there, if you take that away from people, you have to give them something else. You can't take that away and expect them to be comfortable. So essentially, I think what Toyota is doing is saying, we can't predict what the path will be. So we don't want you to hang on to the plan. Look, Toyota plans very carefully and in detail, but they have this odd ability to make a plan, but then view the plan as a hypothesis and continue to adjust along the way based on what they're learning. So what they say is, you can't get your confidence from the plan, so instead you're going to get your confidence, or self-efficacy is probably a better word, from practicing this routine that makes you good, more effective at navigating this territory. And the more you practice it, the more comfortable you get, the larger the challenges you can handle. That's essentially what they're trying to do. And I think I think that's what we can do as a society as a whole.